Class action lawsuit filed over Oakland County doctor's alleged essays.
He's a Rochester Hills doctor accused of sexually abusing and videotaping patients. Well, now some of those former patients are suing the hospitals where he worked. The alleged crimes of Dr. Oumair Aejaz took place over several years at several hospitals and even a swim school.
Now, multiple class action lawsuits are being filed, claiming hospitals didn't do enough to protect patients. Victor Williams joins us now live with the very latest. And Victor, several victims have already come forward.
Yes,
These essay claims are some of the worst. They're the worst because, number one, there were some individuals who were harmed in just about the worst kind of way, or you have somebody who's being alleged of doing the worst kind of harm. And often there's a lot of evidence that lacks. There's not hard evidence the way there is in a breach of contract case, for example, or some other incident where there may have been a videotape of what actually happened. These cases, the ones we hear about, they tend to often be brought against individuals who happen to have a bit of money. Groups of victims to unite against somebody who didn't have any money, somebody without money could continue on their streak of doing wrongdoings. Here you have an individual who's a doctor that probably has a little bit of money himself, and they're pulling the hospital in as a defendant as well, leaving a very deep pocket for the plaintiffs to come after. What might end up happening sometimes is some individuals who are not actually harmed by the defendant may see this as an opportunity to grab some cash and jump in and ride a train that they really should not be on. So it's a very unfortunate circumstance for whoever was not doing anything wrong here.
That is totally correct. The attorneys that filed this lawsuit, they're saying that they've been contacted already by dozens and dozens of these women, and they're just trying their best to get them the justice that they deserve.
We encourage our clients and all patients, and it's not just women, it's children, it's men, it's women that believe they may have been videotaped, to reach out to law enforcement.
2 class action lawsuits have now been filed against Dr. Oumair Aejaz and DMC Sinai Grace, along with Henry Ford McComb, surrounding the investigation that uncovered a large number of patients were being sexually abused and videotaped against their will.
And unfortunately for these brave women that have come forward, these survivors, they now have to sit around today and perhaps for the rest of their lives wondering if these videos or photos were taken with them, what were done with them, were they...
So not just is there the abuse, there's videotapes of it. So this defendant may have done something wrong and may have provided the evidence necessary, not just for him to lose in a major lawsuit, but to lose criminally. And if this is true, I certainly hope that he loses every penny he has, and I hope that he does face some serious criminal charges.
Sold, were they distributed, were they live streamed and otherwise.
The suits filed by Steiner, Gould, Greco, and Hensley say that medical institutions have a duty to protect patients from something like this happening. Instead, they believe that these hospitals gave the doctor a platform to sexually abuse and exploit.
The hospitals granted him privileges and allowed him to see these patients.
Do you have a number?
The number of it could be in the hundreds, if not thousands, during that 6-year period of time.
The attorneys behind the suit are now pleading with people to come forward if they believe they were victimized.
We look forward to hearing from more survivors.
And hopefully those pleas for victims to come forward reaches the ears of every single victim, but also it hopefully doesn't attract anybody who's not actually a victim.
Now, the hospitals that were listed in this suit, they're saying that they're taking these allegations and the situation very seriously. They're also working very closely with law enforcement. We did try to reach out to the lawyer for Dr. Aejaz, and unfortunately at this point, we have yet to hear anything back. Victor Williams, Local.
So disturbing, those allegations. All right, thank you.
My question for you is, do you think you'd get a fair trial if you were a plaintiff or if you were a defendant? Do you trust our legal system? I will tell you that I have grown very skeptical of a lot of issues with the government, and certainly from being in my profession, I've seen where both plaintiffs and defendants did not get justice. There's no way to guarantee an outcome in a legal case, but what you can do is guarantee that you've taken the best possible measures to protect yourself from our legal system.